the subtle idols, and confront the silent cravings for validation. You did not even see them, but I did. I saw the version of you that would have used the gift to make a name instead of make a difference. I saw the subtle compromises that would have emerged if I had answered too soon. So I waited. I sanctified your desires. I purified your pursuit. Your why began to shift. Slowly, sacredly, I watched as the spotlight became less attractive and my secret place more compelling. I saw when your prayers stopped revolving around success and started flowing from surrender. You stopped asking to be known and began asking to be faithful. That, my child, was when the refinement was complete. Not when your actions changed, but when your motives bowed. Now I can trust you. Not because you have perfected your heart, but because you've yielded it. You no longer measure purpose by platform. You no longer confuse influence with intimacy. What you want now is not to be elevated, but to be used. That posture unlocks heaven. That posture invites me to move. What I am about to release will test you again, but now your motives are anchored. You do not seek the gift for yourself. You seek it to fulfill what I have placed within you. And because your intentions align with my purpose, I will release what I once restrained. This is not about being worthy. It's about being willing, with a pure heart and clean hands. I bless according to purpose, not performance. I open doors for those whose motives match my mission. And you, my child, have allowed me to refine yours in the fire of delay. Now watch, what I pour out will not stir pride. It will stir praise. What I release will not elevate ego. It will expand eternity. This was never about the thing. It was about the posture. And now that your heart is in rhythm with mine, I unlock what I kept. Go now, not with entitlement, but with reverence. For what I give is holy, and I only entrust what is holy to those who carry my heart. You do not always understand my ways. You have questioned my silence. You have wrestled with my pace. But I tell you this now, I am not a man who must explain himself. I am God. I do not answer to time, time answers to me. I do not yield to pressure. I shape destiny, my divine decree. What I kept to show you that no human, no circumstance, no force of darkness holds power over your life. I alone reign. You've tried to calculate the delay. You've searched for reasons. But the reason is simple: I do what pleases me, and what pleases me is always right. You could not have manipulated this moment. You could not have strategized your way into it. This is not about being deserving. This is about divine order. I hold the times and seasons in my hands. I orchestrate beginnings and endings. I close doors no man can open, and open gates no demon can shut. And in that delay, I was not distant. I was drawing you into surrender. I let you come to the end of your wisdom so you would lean into mine. I allowed you to feel powerless so that you could experience the fullness of my sovereignty. You thought the silence was abandonment, but it was authority in disguise. I was proving to you that I alone direct the steps of the righteous. Now, because you have learned to yield, I can move freely. Your surrender is not weakness, it is the door to power. I will do now what no man could orchestrate. I will move in a way that silences every doubt. This release will be a declaration of who I am, not just what I give. I do not need conditions to be perfect. I create perfection by my presence. You are not waiting on chance. You are not hoping in luck. You are aligned with me. And what I say is final. No delay has canceled what I have decreed. What I kept was never at risk of being lost. It was protected by the same sovereignty that holds the galaxies together. So trust me, not just when I speak, but when I'm still. Trust me, not just when doors open, but when nothing moves. I am God over both silence and speech, over delay and delivery. And now that your heart has bowed fully, I reveal my hand fully. This moment will declare my authority. This blessing will bear my name. You will know, and all who watch will know, that I kept this, not by accident, but by decree. And what I decree, no force in heaven or hell can stop. I am sovereign, and I always finish what I start. You were never forgotten. You were never disqualified. My eyes have always been on you, watching as you took every step through the wilderness, as you whispered my name in dark places, as you clung to faith when your hands were empty. Every unseen obedience was recorded. Every quiet surrender was honored. And now, my child, you are ready, not just to receive what I kept, but to carry it with the weight of wisdom, the fire of intimacy, and the posture of one who hath been shaped by my hand. I waited until the shallows no longer satisfied you. I waited until your cravings for comfort gave way to your hunger for me. I did not rush this moment, because what I have held for you is not light. It is heavy with purpose, soaked in eternity, etched with my glory. You are not walking into something small. You are stepping into something sacred. What I am releasing is not a mere answer to prayer. It is the unveiling of a divine assignment formed before the foundations of the world. This was never random. This was never delayed without purpose. I have watched the refinement of your character. I have seen the pruning of your motives. I have tested your heart in the fire of waiting. And now, your spirit has come into alignment with what I've ordained. You no longer seek the blessing for approval, but for assignment. You no longer chase fulfillment, you walk in faithfulness. A shift, my child, is what unlocked this door. The gift is not the goal, it is a tool. The release is not your reward, it is your responsibility. What I place in your hands now is for others as much as it is for you. You are stepping into territory that will ripple through generations. You are carrying a mantle that will awaken dry bones. The voice you once hid is now anointed to shatter chains. The prayers you whispered in weariness are about to break forth like rivers in the desert. But understand this, I release nothing prematurely. I kept it for now because this is the moment where your faith meets fulfillment, your waiting meets release, and your preparation meets purpose. What comes now will not exalt your name. It will glorify mine. It will carry the fragrance of my spirit. It will move mountains because it flows from obedience, not ambition. I release it because your hands are open, your heart is pure, and your spirit is bowed. Go now. Do not shrink back. Do not second-guess this season. You are not a victim of delay. You are the evidence of divine timing. What I am unlocking will require courage, humility, and dependence on me at every turn. But you will not walk alone. I go before you. I stand beside you. I move within you. This release is not the end of the waiting. It is the beginning of the walking. Carry it well. Steward it with trembling. And as you move forward, remember, what I kept was never lost. It was reserved. It was refined. And now it is revealed. Step into it. The season of hiding is over. A moment of manifestation has come. I release it now. And heaven bears witness. You've walked with me to the end. And now I ask, will you carry what I've revealed? You're not just watching a video. You're standing on holy ground, where I kept something sacred for your soul. And now I'm asking you to help me release it to others. This is how you water the next heart, how you light the next lamp. Every super thanks, membership, we're offering through the PayPal link below is a seed into my kingdom. an echo of obedience that I will remember when I pour out harvest. You prayed, use me. I'm answering. Use your gift as a weapon of light, a river of fire that carries my voice into darkness. Bless what I've birthed here. Don't delay. Give now, and watch me honor it openly. My child, do not leave this word untouched. Let it take root. Let it stir something eternal within you. I did not pour out my truth for entertainment. I poured it to awaken purpose. I have spoken into the chambers of your waiting. Now, I ask you to speak back, not to me alone, but to the world around you. Declare this now in the comments or aloud in faith. I am ready for what God has kept from me. What was delayed is now being delivered. I trust His timing. I embrace His refining, and I receive what hath been preserved for this moment. Do not hesitate. Your agreement activates your alignment. Your declaration makes room for my demonstration. As you type it, say it, share it. Know this. You are stepping into divine timing. You are walking into a season where what was hidden will be revealed, what was withheld will be released, and what was longed for will be fulfilled in my glory. And if this word has touched your spirit, leave a comment below declaring what you're trusting me for. Write, I trust you, God. I know you kept this for now. Speak it boldly. Share it so others may find their word within yours. Let this space become a well of testimonies, a field of faith, a gathering of sons and daughters ready to receive. I am not finished. I am just beginning. What I kept is about to manifest. Prepare your heart. What's next will carry my fingerprints. My child, come closer. Still your heart for a moment and listen, not with your ears, but with the deepest part of your spirit. I want to speak to you of the secrets you thought were yours alone, the silent conversations you have had in the dead of night. You believe no one was there. You felt the crushing weight of that loneliness, the vast emptiness of a silent room, but you were profoundly, beautifully mistaken. I was there. I heard every word you whispered in the darkest night when no one else was listening. I leaned in to catch the faintest breath of your prayer, the one that had no sound, the one that was only a desperate ache in your soul. I heard the words you choked back, the pleas that felt too audacious to speak aloud, the questions that you were afraid would go unanswered. You thought your voice was swallowed by the shadows, but to me, it was a thunder that echoed through the halls of heaven. I was not distant. I was the very stillness that surrounded you, the quiet presence that held the space for you to pour out your heart. Do not ever believe your prayers are lost in transit or that they are too small for my attention. Every single syllable, spoken or unspoken, is a precious sound to me, a melody of your trust that I treasure more than the songs of angels. Remember those nights, my beloved, when the pain was so sharp that words failed you entirely, and all you could offer was the salt of your tears. Do not think for a moment that your weeping was in vain. Each tear you shed was a prayer I collected and held close to my heart. They were not signs of weakness to me. They were liquid prayers, potent and pure, speaking a language more profound than any tongue. I saw the tear of frustration when the door remained closed. I felt the tear of sorrow when your heart was broken. I witnessed the tear of exhaustion when you felt you could not take another step. I have stored them all, not as memories of your pain, but as testaments to your endurance, as sacred vials of your faith. In the spiritual realm, those tears have watered the very ground where your blessing is now about to sprout. They softened a soil that was hardened by disappointment and delay. They were never wasted, my child. They were a holy offering, a vulnerable and honest cry that moved my heart in a way nothing else can. So when you remember that pain, I want you to reframe the memory. See me there with you, catching every tear, honoring its journey from your eye to my hand, and knowing that each one was a vital part of the story I am writing for you. You have dreams you have never shared, hopes you have buried so deep for fear of disappointment. But the deepest, most secret desires of your soul have always been an open book before me. You cannot hide the contents of your heart from the one who created it. I saw the desire when it was just a fragile seed, a flicker of what if in your mind. I saw its purity, its goodness. I saw the noble intentions behind your wanting. You have often judged your own desires, thinking them selfish or too grand, but I saw them through the eyes of a loving Father. I saw your desire to bring joy, to provide, to create, to heal, to be whole. These were not selfish whims. They were echoes of the very purpose I placed within you. They are the fingerprints of my own creative nature pressed upon your spirit. While you were wrestling with whether you were worthy to even ask, I was cherishing the beauty of what you longed for. You thought these were your secret dreams, but they were my dreams for you first, whispered into your soul before you took your first breath. I know you, my precious one, better than you know yourself, and the longings I have placed within you are a compass pointing toward the magnificent destiny I have ordained for your life. I know how long this journey hath been. I know the ache of waiting. Your faithfulness in prayer, even when heaven seemed silent, has reached my throne. It was in those moments, when you chose to believe in my goodness without any evidence, that your faith shone the brightest. It is easy to sing my praises on the mountaintop of answered prayer, but you, my child, you learned to whisper my name in the valley of silence. That quiet, stubborn, relentless faith, that is what I honor. You did not give up. You did not curse the silence. You kept showing up, kept speaking to a God you could not feel, kept trusting in a love you could not see. This unwavering persistence was a fragrance that filled my courts. The angels stood in awe of your tenacity. They witnessed you choosing faith over fear, trust over despair, time and time again. Your quiet endurance in the face of my perceived silence was a more powerful testimony than the loudest hallelujah. You were proving that your love for me was not dependent on my answers, but on my character, and that, my beloved, is the most beautiful worship of all. Do you remember when it started? At first, timid request. I do. I remember the very moment you first asked for this, and I have not forgotten. I remember the circumstances that surrounded you, the fear that you wrestled with, the little spark of hope that gave you the courage to finally ask me. That moment is etched into eternity. It was not just another prayer lost among billions. It was a pivotal moment in our journey together. It was the moment you invited me into one of the deepest desires of your heart, and I honored that invitation by immediately setting a plan in motion. You may have thought I had forgotten because of the time that has passed, but my mind is not like yours. I hold all of time in my hand. My memory is perfect. I have never forgotten the sincerity in your voice, the hope in your heart, the vulnerability of your request. I have cherished it. And every single time you brought it to me again, you were not reminding a forgetful God. You were partnering with an intentional God. This is what you must understand. Your persistent petitions were not an annoyance. They were shaping the spiritual realm for what was to come. You thought you were just repeating the same old prayer, but you were doing something far more powerful. With every prayer, you were casting a vote of faith. With every petition, you were wielding a spiritual sword. You were a laborer, tilling the soil, pulling the weeds of doubt, preparing the ground of your life for the magnitude of the blessing I was preparing to plant. You were a warrior, pushing back forces of darkness that sought to steal your promised land. Your prayers were not just words. They were a powerful spiritual force, creating the very future you were asking for. You were not bothering me, my child. You were battling alongside me. You were maturing, growing, and becoming the person who could not only receive the blessing, but sustain it. And now, the season of your faithful prayers, of your tears, of your secret longings, is coming to its glorious culmination. The echo of your unspoken prayers has been heard, honored, and is now being answered. My child, you must let this truth anchor your soul and quiet the lingering storms of the past. The long season of silence that you endured was not a sign of my distance, it was proof of my nearness. I need you to revisit that quiet place in your memory, but this time, I want you to feel me there with you. I was the stillness in the room, the pause between your frantic thoughts. When you felt most alone, I was closer to you than the air in your lungs, the very lifeblood coursing through your veins. You must understand that my quiet was a shield of loving protection. I was guarding you from answers that, at the time, your spirit was not yet prepared to handle. I was protecting you from a premature battle that would have left you wounded and confused. Think of a loving father standing guard outside the room of a sleeping child, silent, so as not to disturb their rest, yet utterly present and ready to defend against any harm. That was me for you. My stillness was a holy sanctuary I created, a sacred space where, away from the clamor of the world and the distraction of easy answers, the roots of your faith could grow deep and tenacious. They twisted and pushed down through the hard soil of disappointment, seeking me, the living water, until they became so strong that no future storm could ever uproot you. I was weaving a magnificent tapestry, and from your perspective on the underside, all you could perceive was a chaotic jumble of tangled threads and confusing knots of color. You could not see the glorious image, the divine design that was taking shape on the upper side. You could not see how every dark thread of sorrow was necessary to accentuate the brilliant thread of coming joy. My silence is also a language, my beloved, a divine form of communication. It is the language of profound trust, the dialect of the deep. It was my invitation to you to stop listening for a voice and to start listening with your heart, to find me not in the whirlwind, but in the gentle whisper that remained when all else had fallen away. Receive this understanding now. I was never absent. I was simply working in a realm you could not see and speaking in a language you were only just beginning to learn. Let go now of any lingering thought that the waiting was a form of punishment or a sign of my displeasure. Cast that idea from your mind, for it is a lie from the enemy meant to scar your heart with bitterness. See the truth now. The waiting was not a penalty. It was a period of intense and intricate preparation for your destiny. I was not withholding a blessing from you. I was building a foundation within you strong enough to hold it. This was your wilderness classroom, and the curriculum was trust. In that space between your earnest prayer and the awaited answer, I was teaching you the most vital of all spiritual lessons, how to rely on me alone. Your faith had to be transferred from a belief in my ability to answer, to a deep and settled rest in my character. You had to learn that my presence is the prize, that I am your greatest reward. If I had given you everything you desired at the moment of your asking, your faith would have remained shallow, rooted only in the formula of getting what you want. The waiting cultivated within you a divine patience, a spiritual stamina that will now sustain you for the rest of your life. See patience not as a passive, helpless state, but as an active and courageous trust, a powerful muscle of the soul. In that season of longing, you were exercising this muscle, pushing against the weight of time until it became lean and powerful. And while you were waiting, I was working in the unseen. Imagine me as a master strategist, moving pieces across the chessboard of your life and history. I was aligning circumstances, softening the hearts of others, opening future pathways, and closing doors that would have led to ruin. Every delay that frustrated you had a divine and strategic purpose. This season has deepened your character, molding you into a vessel of honor, ready at last to receive my finest gifts. The most beautiful transformation of all occurred in your heart. You entered that season of waiting, desperate for a blessing from my hand, but you have emerged from it in love with the God who gives it. That, my child, is the ultimate victory, and it has made you ready for everything that is to come. Picture now a master blacksmith standing before his roaring forge, his mind set on creating a flawless, formidable blade. He does not treat the precious metal casually. He thrusts it into the heart of the fire, not to consume it, but to purify it. He subjects it to an intense, glowing heat that causes all impurities, all dross, to rise to the surface so they can be skimmed away. The many trials you have faced, my child, were your time in the refiner's fire. Every moment you felt the heat of affliction pressing in on you, I was there as the master refiner, my hand on the bellows, my gaze fixed upon you. I was watching intently, controlling the temperature with perfect wisdom, waiting for the moment when the reflection of my own sun would shine clearly in the purity of your spirit. When I pulled you from the fire, it was to place you upon the anvil of circumstance, to strike you with the hammer of adversity. This was not cruelty. This was love in its most potent form. With every blow, I was shaping your character, beating out the weaknesses you did not know you had, and strengthening you to carry the immense weight of the coming blessing without faltering. The sword of your spirit was being forged. When you faced injustice and chose the difficult path of forgiveness, I was hammering out the brittleness of resentment. When you faced scarcity and chose the radical path of trust, I was tempering you with resilience. A blessing of the magnitude I have prepared for you requires a vessel of immense strength. It is a spiritual law. You cannot pour new, fermenting wine into old, brittle wineskins. The power and potency of what I am releasing would have ruptured the person you used to be. The old structures of your insecurity, your fear, and your self-reliance would have shattered, and both you and the blessing would have been lost. So, I had to make you entirely new. Do not look back on your struggles as a time of loss. See the fire, feel the hammer's purposeful strike, and know that you are being honored. Only that which is destined for greatness is subjected to such a rigorous and loving process. You have been forged. You are ready. Listen to me with an open heart, my beloved, for this truth will extinguish the embers of your past confusion. Every day you waited was an act of my mercy in motion. My delay was your divine protection. If I had given you the desire of your heart when you first asked, it would have ultimately destroyed you. You cried out for responsibility your character could not yet bear. You begged for a victory your soul was not mature enough to handle. It appeared to you as a beautiful, shining gift. But I, who see the end from the beginning, knew that at that time it would have functioned as a poison to your spirit. I saw the hidden traps and the subtle snares the enemy had laid in waiting for you, traps you could not perceive in your eagerness. He was watching, anticipating that premature success. He knew the insidious pride that would have bloomed in your heart. He knew that a victory won too easily would have taught you to trust in your own strength, slowly and imperceptibly leading you down a path of self-reliance, away from the shelter of my presence. I kept you from a hollow triumph that would have cost you your intimacy with me. For what would it profit you, my child, to gain the blessing you thought you wanted, only to lose the nearness of the one who is your very life? I was protecting our relationship, which is the most precious treasure in all of creation. You must discern the difference in timing. The enemy's plan is always to rush you into ruin. He will dangle a counterfeit blessing before you, a shortcut that leads off a cliff. My timing, however, is always to bring you into perfection. I work patiently, meticulously, to prepare you not just to receive a gift, but to become the person who can steward it with wisdom, humility, and grace for a lifetime. Every frustrating moment of my perceived delay was a fierce and fatherly act of profound love. I was the parent holding you back from a busy road you wanted to run into. I absorbed your disappointment and your questions because my love for you is so great that I would rather you be temporarily frustrated with my timing than to see you permanently broken by a blessing you were not yet ready to carry. My child, pause and breathe in this truth. You now understand that my silence was your shield. But to turn away now, with only the knowledge of my protection, would be to leave the story half told. It would grieve my heart for you to walk away from this conversation aware of the shelter I provided, but unaware of the unseen battles I fought on your behalf. You have felt my defensive love. Now, stay with me. Let me show you the offensive power I wielded for your victory. Do not stop listening. Now, I invite you to lift your gaze. Look up from the small map of your own life and see with me the vastness of the territory I govern. Your existence, my child, is a single, beautiful thread, but it is being woven into a divine tapestry of breathtaking complexity and scope. Your story is interconnected with 1,000 others in ways you cannot yet imagine. During your season of waiting, my work was not confined to the boundaries of your own heart. I was simultaneously orchestrating a symphony of events in the lives of every other person connected to your destiny. Your breakthrough was never intended to be a solo performance. For the blessing to be released upon you in its fullness, other people had to be made ready. Other circumstances had to be perfectly aligned. Some hearts needed to be softened, some needed to be strengthened. For some, a door of opportunity had to open. For others, a door of failure had to close. Every piece of this magnificent, living puzzle had to be in its perfect and appointed place for your miracle to be born into the world with its maximum intended impact. What I have for you is not some private treasure to be hoarded for your own comfort. It is a resource to be poured out for the blessing of many. The patience you learned in the crucible will now become a wellspring of hope for others who are still waiting. The financial provision I am releasing will flow through your hands to feed the hungry and support my work on earth. The authority I am giving you will clear a path for others to find their own freedom. My delay was an act of multiplication. If I had answered you sooner, the blessing would have terminated with you. But by waiting, by preparing you, and simultaneously preparing the world around you, the blessing hath been magnified. It will now set off a chain reaction of grace that will cascade through your family, your community, and even through generations you will never meet. You were looking at your watch, but I was looking at my eternal calendar. You were focused on your personal pain, but I was focused on a corporate purpose. Your waiting was a noble sacrifice, a seed planted that will now produce a harvest far larger and more glorious than you ever dared to ask. I now call you to lift your understanding beyond the veil of the physical world, to perceive the reality that exists just beyond your sight. While you were wrestling with the tangible trials of your waiting season, a far greater conflict was being waged on your behalf in the spiritual realms. You must know that your life and destiny are of immense value, so precious that forces of darkness actively sought to prevent the future I have ordained for you. The accuser of your soul, the prince of the air, desired to steal the promise I had given, to extinguish the hope in your heart, and to destroy your testimony before it could even begin. He laid spiritual snares and whispered insidious lies to your spirit in the night, seeking to make you abandon your faith. But you were never alone in this fight. While you slept in uncertainty, my angelic hosts were encamped around you, a formidable army of light standing guard over your life. They were a shield against assaults you never even knew were coming. That delay you experienced, the frustrating postponement of your miracle, was often a brilliant and strategic maneuver in this cosmic conflict. It was a divine tactic to outwit the enemy, to move you into a position of safety while my warriors cleared a path for your future, a path that was fraught with spiritual opposition and celestial contention. Think of it this way: your victory had to be secured in the courts of heaven before it could be delivered to you on earth. Every prayer you uttered was a weapon in this battle. Every act of faith was a blow against the enemy's claim on your circumstances. While you saw only silence and delay, I was dismantling demonic strongholds, silencing lying tongues, and waging war for your soul's inheritance. So let this knowledge fortify you. Your past struggle was not just an emotional or earthly one. You were a participant in a grand spiritual victory. You held your ground in faith, and in doing so, you gave my heavenly armies the legal right to enforce the triumph I won for you on the cross. The battle is already over. The victory is already won. What you are stepping into now is simply the glorious and tangible manifestation of a triumph that has long been declared in the heavens. In the profound stillness of your waiting, I was giving you one of the greatest gifts imaginable. I was training your spiritual ears. Come and see how that quiet season was actually a school for learning to discern my voice. The world shouts for your attention with a deafening, chaotic roar. It screams with fear, with ambition, with doubt, with endless opinions and conflicting demands. Had I shouted my answer to you over that noise, you would have become dependent on the volume, not the source. So, I led you into the wilderness. I intentionally drew you away from the crowds, away from the need for signs and wonders and the validation of others. It was in the place of perceived lack, where there were no spectacular displays to cling to, that you were weaned off the need for external proof. You had no choice but to learn to find your assurance in the gentle whisper of my spirit and the quiet, steady truth of my word. Your desperation for an answer became the very thing that drove you to a deeper place. Your hunger for a solution ultimately transformed into a more profound hunger for me, the only true answer. You began to read my word not just for a promise to claim, but for a person to know. You began to pray not just to change your circumstances, but to be changed by my presence. This, my beloved, is the treasure that was hidden in the field of your waiting. The intimacy we have built in that quiet place is the true prize. It is a gift far surpassing what you originally asked me for. The blessing you are about to receive is temporary and earthly, but the ability to hear my voice, to know my heart, to feel the comfort of my nearness, that is an eternal treasure. Because you have learned to distinguish my gentle whisper from the world's roar, you can now trust my guidance implicitly. You no longer need a sign in the sky, for you have a witness in your spirit. You are now ready to walk into the season of fulfillment, led not by sight, but by the familiar and trusted sound of your shepherd's voice. You must understand that a great and lasting testimony cannot be built upon the shifting sands of a fragile faith. The immense structure of the destiny I have for you required a foundation of solid rock, and the season of your waiting with the time of its laying. Your old faith, though sincere, was built on the sands of circumstance and emotion. It was strong when the sun was shining but would wash away in the storm. I, as your wise master builder, could not construct your future on such unstable ground. So, with painstaking love, I began an excavation. The waiting was my process of digging out the loose sand of your insecurities, your self-reliance, and your conditional trust. It was difficult work, and you felt the turmoil of being unsettled, but it was necessary. I had to get down to the bedrock of your soul. Then, I began to lay the foundation stones. Every time you faced lack and I provided just enough for that day, you were learning my name, Jehovah Jireh, and a stone of provision was laid. Every time you were at the end of your own strength and my power was made perfect in your weakness, you were learning the sufficiency of my grace, and a stone of supernatural strength was set in place. Every time the world failed you and you found comfort only in me, you were learning that I am your truest companion, and a stone of intimate fellowship was cemented. Your entire season of trial was this holy construction project. Now, that foundation is complete. It is built upon the unshakable rock of my unchanging character and my unfailing word. It will not crack under the pressure of the new responsibilities you are about to carry. It will not tremble when the inevitable challenges of this new level rise. Where you once were unstable, you are now established. Where you were once fragile, you are now firm. So stand now on this solid ground. Feel its strength beneath your feet. The hidden, often painful work of the past has prepared you for the glorious, visible work of the future. The foundation hath been laid, and now it is time to build. Behold, my child, and let your spirit leap within you, for the waiting is over. The appointed time, the moment decreed by me in the halls of eternity before the world began, is now upon you. Just as I sent my own Son into the world in the fullness of time, not a moment too early or a moment too late, so I operate in your life with divine and perfect precision. Your life is not a series of random events. It is a divinely authored story with appointed seasons and moments of fulfillment. The long, barren winter of your soul has passed. The days of icy stillness and silent longing are finished. Feel the warmth returning to your spirit, for the season has turned. A new era of vibrant, abundant life is now springing forth from the very ground that was once frozen and hard. See with the eyes of your spirit the green shoots emerging. This now that you are entering is not an accident. It is the moment chosen by my infinite wisdom and my unconditional love for you. It is the culmination of all your prayers, all your tears, all my unseen work, and all the battles fought on your behalf. All of heaven has been leaning in, watching your journey with great anticipation, waiting for this very time of release and revelation in your life. The angels who ministered to you in your wilderness are now poised to celebrate your entrance into the promised land. The great cloud of witnesses, those who have finished their own races, are cheering you on as you step across this threshold. So I command you now, with all the love in my heart, open your hands. Let go of the posture of desperate pleading and assume the posture of joyful receiving. Open your heart. Let go of the fear of disappointment and make room for the flood of my goodness. The period of postponement is over. The season of preparation is complete. Your now has arrived. Walk into it. My child, your now has arrived, a divine moment I have kept for you. And in this very instant, another soul is still in the season of waiting you just left behind, crying out for a word of hope. You have prayed, use me, Lord, to help others. This is how I am answering you now. When you give, you are not merely supporting this channel. You are sending my voice, this very message of breakthrough, into someone else's desperate midnight. Every super thanks or membership you sow is a seed of hope, planted in this appointed time, to be harvested in a soul that was about to give up. I declared, give, and it will be given to you. And I am the Lord who does not lie. Watch as I open the heavens over your own life as you obey. Your act of faith right now will accelerate the now for another one of my children. For your obedience, I will multiply the blessing of this new season upon your own household, releasing a harvest of favor and peace. Now act. Click Super Thanks, join as a member, or use the PayPal link in the description below, and partner with me in this great harvest of souls. Your spirit rejoices, for you know your now has arrived. But a new season requires new equipping. To run into this promise with only the excitement of the moment, without the supernatural strength and divine wisdom I have reserved for you, would be like a soldier marching into a new land without a map or a sword. It would deeply sadden my spirit to watch you struggle when I am here, ready to arm you for the journey. Day, the promise hath been given. Now, let me give you the tools to steward it. Now listen, for the road ahead is new, and it requires a power you have not possessed until this moment. For this next chapter of your journey, you need a strength that is not your own, a power that is supernatural in its origin. You have been running on fumes, my child, enduring through sheer grit and the memory of my past faithfulness. But that is not enough for where you are going. I have kept a reserve of my divine power, a wellspring of heavenly might, for this very moment of your commissioning. Where you have felt chronically weak, where you have battled the same weariness day after day, you will now begin to feel the undeniable surge of my resurrection might flowing into the very marrow of your being. This is not just a feeling of encouragement. This is a tangible infusion of my own power. This is the strength you will need to finally and decisively overcome the old habits and cycles of thought that have entangled you for so long. It is the strength to build the new things I am calling you to create, to speak with boldness, and to lead others with a grace that does not grow weary. I want you to understand the nature of this gift. This is not a fleeting emotion like a burst of adrenaline that quickly fades. It is the abiding, indwelling, relentless presence of my Holy Spirit taking up a greater residence within you. You will be your constant source of power, your ever-present help. You will draw from a well that never runs dry. You have stumbled in weakness long enough. Now, you will walk in my power. You have called in exhaustion. Now, you will mount up with wings like an eagle. I am fulfilling my promise to you today. You will run this new race and not grow weary. You will walk in this unfolding victory, and you will not faint. Receive it now. Breathe it in. This supernatural strength is my gift to you for the glorious journey ahead. For the new territory you are now entering, you will need more than the world's cleverness. You must have a heavenly wisdom that transcends all human logic. I have kept this for you, a reserve of divine insight held for this very season. Lean not on the finite understanding that has guided you until now, for the challenges and opportunities ahead are of a different nature. I am giving you a new spiritual sense, an intuitive compass within your soul that is calibrated to my will. Receive this gift. It is the wisdom to make godly choices in the complex situations you are about to face, to navigate the subtle currents of human hearts, and to build what I have called you to build on a foundation of truth. This insight will grant you a profound spiritual discernment, enabling you to recognize a divine opportunity wrapped in humble clothing and to perceive a subtle deception dressed in the finery of success. Where you once felt confused and paralyzed by decisions, you will begin to experience moments of sudden and supernatural clarity. I will give you the precise words to speak in every crucial conversation, the language of heaven that can unlock hardened hearts and bring peace into rooms filled with turmoil. Let this wisdom become the very guardian of the blessing I am giving you. It will protect what I have given from being squandered by foolish choices or undermined by innocent mistakes. Do not rush into your decisions. I command you to cultivate a habit of pausing, of turning inward to the quiet place where my spirit dwells, and listening. Listen for my guidance. It will not always be loud, but it will always be clear. Trust this inner witness I am sharpening within you, for it will guide you with an accuracy that your own intellect could never achieve. This is my promise to you. You will not walk this new path in confusion. You will walk in the light of my counsel, making choices that honor me and lead you into the fullness of my perfect plan. You have walked a long and often lonely road, my child, but that season of solitary travel is now coming to an end. With perfect and patient love, I have orchestrated and kept a divine connection for you until this exact time. I want you to open your heart now to receive this new fellowship. Think of your life as a river that has been carving its own path through the wilderness. In a different part of that same wilderness, I have been guiding another river, or perhaps a collection of streams, on a separate journey. Now, at a place on the map that only I could see, I am causing your paths to converge in a symphony of my grace. You must understand that this person, or this community of people, has also been on a journey of intense preparation. They too have been through the fire, been shaped by their own waiting, and have been made ready for you. They will be a source of profound joy in your life, bringing laughter into places that have long been silent. They will be a source of unwavering support, standing with you in your new assignment, believing in the vision I have given you. They will be a source of spiritual sharpening, challenging you to grow deeper in your faith, as iron sharpens iron. I lovingly guarded you from the unequal yokes and the lesser relationships that would have diluted your purpose and distracted your heart. The pain of past connections that failed was my hand protecting you, keeping you for this true and holy alignment. The timing is now perfect. The preparations are complete. I am calling your spirits together. Do not be afraid to trust again. Let go of the walls you have built around your heart. I invite you to step into this new fellowship with vulnerability and hope. For together, in the bond of a spirit-led unity, you will achieve far more for my kingdom and reflect my love in a far more brilliant way than you ever could have alone. This is the gift of companionship I have held in reserve for you. Receive it with gratitude. Behold, my beloved, and lift your eyes, for I have set before you an open door, and no force in heaven or on earth can shut it. This is not just any door. This is the door you have been praying for, the one you have been waiting for. This specific opportunity was intentionally hidden from your view, kept under lock and key by my sovereign hand until you were fully equipped in character and strength to walk through it. See it now before you. It is the direct pathway to the fulfillment of the sacred dreams I myself planted within your heart so long ago. You have stood before many closed doors, feeling frustrated and confused, but all the while, I was going before you down this hidden corridor of time. With my own power, I have removed the spiritual and physical obstacles that once blocked this way. The giants of fear that stood as sentinels have been defeated. The mountains of impossibility have been made low. The path is now clear. I command you to leave behind the hesitation of your former season. The spirit of timidity has no place in this new era. Walk through this door with a holy boldness and a sanctified courage, for you do not go alone. I am with you. My presence goes before you as a consuming fire, and my glory will be your rear guard. This is the threshold between your past of preparation and your future of purpose. It leads out of the narrow place of waiting and into a wide and fruitful realm of greater influence, expanded purpose, and profound kingdom impact. The time for knocking is over. The time for merely peering through the keyhole is past. The door stands open. It is a personal invitation from your King. Do not falter. Do not look back. Step across the threshold now and possess the land I have promised you. Be still now, my child, and let my tender grace do its most profound work. The complete and lasting healing that you have cried out for with so many tears, I have kept for this new season of restoration. This is not a temporary fix for your symptoms or a surface-level patch for your pain. I am bringing a healing that reaches into the deepest recesses of your soul, into the hidden places of your heart that you thought were broken beyond repair. Invite me into those places now. I am tenderly restoring the parts of you that were fractured by trauma and disappointment. I am speaking peace over the memories that have haunted you. I am mending the fabric of your soul where it has been torn by grief and betrayal. You must understand something about your old wounds. Your scars will remain, but their function will be transformed. They will no longer be a source of recurring pain or a trigger for your fear. From this day forward, they will stand as a powerful and beautiful testimony of my grace. They will become a map of your journey that tells the story of my faithfulness, visible proof to you and to a watching world that I am the God who restores. I command wholeness to flood your being. I speak it over your spirit, your soul, and your body. I, your Creator, am the only one who can make you truly whole, and I am doing that work now. Breathe in my peace and wholeness. Exhale the fragments of your past brokenness. This miraculous restoration will not be a secret. It will be an undeniable sign of my power and my love to all who know your story. People will look at you and see the evidence of my restorative hand, and it will give them hope for their own lives. They will see that what was shattered can be made more beautiful than before. This is my gift to you in this new era. You have walked in brokenness long enough. Now, I call you to walk in the glorious light of my complete and perfect healing. Feel the truth of my deep healing settling into your soul. This wholeness is a precious gift, but it is for a divine purpose. To receive this restoration without understanding the new and powerful identity it empowers you to walk in would be to leave my work in you incomplete. It would truly wound my heart for you to be made whole, only to continue seeing yourself through the old lens of brokenness. Remain with me now. Let me pull back the final veil and show you who you truly are in me. For far too long, you have lived as a shadow of your true self, catching only a fleeting glimpse of the person I created you to be. You have identified more with your struggles than with your strength, more with your past than with your inheritance. But now, in this new season, I am pulling back the veil. I am silencing the confusing voices of your history so you can hear the one defining voice of your identity, mine. Prepare your heart for the revelation of who you truly are in me. You are my royal child, a prince or princess of the Most High King. Your identity is not defined by your failures or your family background. It is defined by the precious blood of my Son. By that blood, you are chosen, you are holy, you are utterly and completely redeemed. Listen to my decree over you today. I am silencing the accuser. I am legally and spiritually stripping away the false labels of fear, of shame, of failure, of rejection that have been stuck to your soul. I command you to stop seeing yourself through the distorted lens of your past wounds. From this moment forward, I command you to see yourself as I see you. When I look at you, I see the righteousness of Christ. I see a powerful overcomer, seated with me in heavenly places, far above all principality and power. I see a carrier of my light and my glory. Grasping this identity is not an exercise in pride. It is an act of humble acceptance of my finished work. It is the master key that unlocks the authority you are now meant to carry. You cannot walk through the door I have opened for you while still wearing the rags of a spiritual orphan. You must be clothed in the royal robes of your sonship. You must live like a child of the King, speak like a child of the King, and act like a child of the King. This is your true and eternal identity. It is the most foundational truth of your existence. Embrace it, believe it, and walk in the fullness of it, for everything else in this new season depends on it. You must now lift your eyes from your own perceived limitations and understand the source of your supply. The earth is mine, my child, and everything in it, the silver, the gold, the cattle on 1,000 hills. My resources are limitless, and you are my heir. The season you have endured, the time of just enough, was a holy training ground. It was a test of your trust, a crucible for your heart to learn stewardship when resources were scarce. You learned to look to my hand for your daily bread, not to your own ability. You have passed the test. Your heart has been proven faithful in the little, and now I am making you ruler over much. I am now opening the doors to a storehouse of financial and material provision that I have kept under seal, reserved specifically for the assignment I have placed upon your life. The season of scarcity is over. The year of survival is finished. I am releasing the resources required for the grand vision I have planted in your heart to finally take root and flourish in the world. But you must hear my heart in this. I am calling you to be a generous conduit of my blessing, not a stagnant reservoir. I want you to open your hands as wide as you open your heart. Imagine yourself as a clear channel through which my river of provision can flow, bringing life and refreshment to the dry places around you. The moment you begin to hoard and to fear, the flow becomes blocked. The joy of this provision is not in its accumulation, but in its distribution. I command you to use what I am giving you to expand my kingdom, to care for the widow and the orphan, to resource my work on the earth, and to bring glory to my name. Let your life become a testimony of my goodness and generosity. You have trusted me when you had nothing. Now, trust me with the abundance I am placing into your hands. This is not for your comfort alone, but for your commissioning. In this new era, material provision is not enough. You require a divine empowerment, a spiritual equipping for the specific purpose I have ordained for your life. I have kept a fresh outpouring of my Spirit, a unique and tailored anointing, for this new chapter of your assignment. Receive it now. This is not a vague feeling of inspiration. It is my supernatural power resting upon you for your specific tasks. Where you have felt inadequate, you will feel my competence rise within you. Where you have felt tongue-tied, you will find a new authority in your words. You will begin to operate in spiritual gifts you did not know you possessed. A wisdom beyond your years will flow from you in moments of decision. A faith to move mountains will rise in your heart in the face of impossible circumstances. Your very words will now carry my creative authority. When you speak my truth into a situation, you will be releasing my power to bring change, to bring order where there is chaos, and to bring light where there is darkness. Your actions, motivated by my love, will now demonstrate my power to heal and restore. But you must come before me now in profound humility. This anointing is not for your own glory. It is not to build your name or your reputation. It is a holy and sacred trust, given to you for the sole purpose of glorifying me. I command you to walk in this power with a humble heart, always remembering that you are simply the vessel, and I am the source. You are the branch, I am the vine. Apart from me, you can do nothing. As you walk in this new empowerment, constantly deflect the praise and honor back to me. Let people see your good works, but let it cause them to glorify your Father in heaven. This is the sacred purpose of the power I am entrusting to you. My beloved child, look back for a moment and see the profound parallel. My own son, for the joy that was set before him, endured the cross, scorning its shame. In your own way, you too have endured the cross of a long and painful waiting, your eyes fixed on the hope of a future joy. You have persevered. You have kept the faith. And now, as your great reward, I am releasing that very joy into the core of your being. I want you to understand the nature of this gift. This is not the world's happiness, which is a fleeting emotion based on favorable happenings. What I am giving you is an unshakable and resilient joy, a deep wellspring of life that is rooted not in your circumstances, but in my constant, abiding presence. It is the profound joy that comes from seeing long-awaited promises fulfilled. It is the quiet, confident joy of intimate communion with me, your God. It is a joy that can coexist with trials, a light that cannot be extinguished by any surrounding darkness. I command a spirit of celebration to replace the atmosphere of mourning in your life and in your home. Let laughter echo in the hallways where there have been tears. Let psalms of thanksgiving rise up where there have been sighs of despair. This deep, unassailable joy will become your supernatural strength in the days to come. When challenges arise, this joy will be the anchor for your soul. When the enemy tries to sow discouragement, this joy will be your shield and your weapon. It is a fruit of my Spirit that has now ripened in the season of your waiting. You no longer have to strive for it. You only have to receive it. Open your heart now. Let go the heaviness, the anxiety, the sorrow of the past. I am pouring into you the very oil of gladness. Let it fill you to overflowing. This is your inheritance. This is your strength. This is your reward. For too long, a spirit of heaviness has tried to claim residence in your heart. It has clung to you like a drab, heavy coat, weighing you down, stealing your energy, and muting the colors of your life. Hear my divine decree today. That spirit of oppression has lingered long enough. Its authority over you is broken. Its season is over. With my own hands, I am now removing that oppressive garment from your shoulders. I command you to let it fall to the ground, and in its place, I am clothing you in a new and radiant garment, a garment of praise. See it now with the eyes of your spirit. It is woven with the threads of gratitude and shivers with the light of my goodness. This is more than a change of mood, it is a change of spiritual position. You will now worship me from a place of undeniable victory, not from a pit of desperation. Your praise will no longer be a desperate cry for help, but a triumphant song of deliverance. You must understand that your spontaneous praise is one of your most powerful weapons. As you choose to thank me, even when you do not feel like it, you are actively confusing and scattering the enemy's plans. Praise shifts the atmosphere around you, creating a habitation for my presence. It builds a throne for your king right in the midst of your circumstances. I invite your heart to overflow with authentic, continual gratitude, not as a religious duty, but as the natural, joyful response of a child who knows they are deeply loved by their Father. Thank me for who I am. Thank me for all that I have done. Let this praise create the atmosphere of heaven on earth, a portable sanctuary of my presence that you will now carry with you everywhere you go. When you walk into a room, you will bring my presence with you. When you speak, notes of gratitude will color your words. This is your new attire. Wear it always. It is the uniform of a victor, the clothing of a joyful child of the King. I have clothed you in a garment of praise and taken away the spirit of heaviness. Now, you can help me clothe another soul in that same radiant hope. You have asked me how you can turn your worship into tangible action. This is the way. Your gift carries the sound of my deliverance into the silence where another child of mine is trapped in despair. Your giving is like pouring new oil, fueling a lamp of praise in a dark place so another can see my light and find their psalm again. I promise that those who sow in tears will reap with psalms of joy. As you sow into this ministry, you help fulfill that promise for someone else. This act of worship, right now, is a powerful weapon against the spirit of heaviness that grips another soul. I will honor the seed of praise, and I command a double portion of joy and protection to guard your own heart and home. Sow this seed of victory now. You super thanks. Become a member, or find the PayPal link below, and let your worship become a miracle for another. You are now clothed in a garment of praise, ready for the celebration that is to come. But this new attire is not just for your comfort. It is your uniform for a holy assignment. To wear the garment of victory without understanding the radical faith and obedience I now call you to would be a profound tragedy. It would disappoint my heart to see you dressed for a divine purpose but remaining on the sidelines of your destiny. The most crucial part of our conversation is about to begin. Do not turn away. Listen, for I am calling you to action. I have revealed my heart to you. I have unveiled the new season. I have described the strength, the wisdom, the joy, and the provision I am releasing. Now, my child, the focus shifts to you. Now that I have shown you my hand, you must respond with courageous, decisive action. Your faith, which sustained you so beautifully in the waiting, must now transform. It must transition from a passive, enduring faith into an active, obedient, and cooperative faith. I am calling you now to do what feels impossible. I am calling you to step out of the comfort of your boat, away from the familiar securities of your past, and to walk on the water toward me. Fix your eyes on me, and do not look at the wind and the waves of circumstance. This is the moment of your response. You must believe without doubting that what I have promised you, I am more than able to perform. You must take me at my word and act as if it is already true, because in my realm, it is. I give you this loving but firm command. Resist the temptation to look back. Do not glance over your shoulder at the familiar comforts of Egypt when I am leading you into the promised land. The old ways of coping, the old securities, are no longer for you. You must let them go. Your bold, unflinching faith is what pleases me. It is the response of a heart that truly knows and trusts me. It is the key that unlocks the continued, uninterrupted flow of my power and blessing in your life. The provisions I have described are waiting for you, but you must step forward to receive them. The open door is before you, but you must have the courage to walk through it. The time for waiting is over. The time for radical faith has begun. Show me your trust not just in your prayers, but in your footsteps. My child, as you step into this new landscape of blessing and influence, you must attune your ear to a new level of listening. With greater blessings and expanded territory come stricter and more precise instructions from your King. I invite you now into a deeper walk of obedience, not as a burden to be carried, but as a dance of intimacy to be enjoyed. Your love for me, which you have professed in the lonely seasons, will now be most clearly expressed in your moment-by-moment obedience. You must learn to listen closely for my guidance in the small, daily things, for it is in the furnace of the mundane that your capacity to handle the monumental is forged. I command you to surrender the impulse to lean on your own limited understanding. Your intellect, though a gift from me, can only see a small fraction of the picture I am painting. Trust my infinite wisdom, my eternal perspective, especially when my instructions seem counterintuitive or illogical to your natural mind. I may ask you to give when it feels like you should be saving. I may call you to be silent when your every instinct is to speak. I may guide you down a path that seems to be a detour. You must trust me. Following my precise instructions is how you will navigate the unseen spiritual reefs and currents of this new season. Understand this. Your obedience is the key that will unlock the next level of blessing, and the next after that. This walk is one of continued progression, and your precise obedience is the very thing that keeps you moving forward on the path I have ordained for you. Let your heart's constant prayer be, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." For in your beautiful, trusting obedience, my perfect will for your life will gloriously unfold. What I am now placing into your hands, the opportunities, the resources, the influence, is a sacred and holy trust, not a personal possession to be used as you see fit. I am calling you to a higher standard of management, the standard of a faithful steward. You must manage this trust with unwavering integrity, with the divine wisdom I am supplying, and with a profound and abiding humility. I command you to never take this blessing for granted or to forget for a moment from whom it came. Resist the temptation to squander it on frivolous pursuits that have no eternal value. Remember always this foundational truth: it all belongs to me. I am the owner of everything. You are simply the manager I have lovingly appointed and entrusted. Your faithfulness with what I have now given you will determine what I can entrust you with in the future. See this new season as both a reward and a test. I want to see what you will do with this new level of blessing. Will you use it to build your own small kingdom, or will you use it to expand mine? Will you consume it upon yourself, or will you allow it to flow through you to bless others? Your stewardship in this season will be a powerful witness to a watching and hungry world. When they see you managing my resources with integrity, generosity, and joy, it will be a more powerful sermon than any you could ever preach with words. It will be a visible demonstration of my goodness and the principles of my kingdom. So I charge you today, be faithful, be wise, be generous. For to whom much is given, much will be required. Show yourself to be a trustworthy steward, and I will continue to open the storehouses of heaven over your life. My beloved, to fully and freely embrace the new thing I am doing in your life, you must now have the courage to intentionally release the old. You cannot walk forward into your promised land while still dragging behind you the burdens and baggage of your time in the wilderness. I command you now, by the power of my Spirit, to let them go. Let go of the painful memory of the struggle. Release the bitterness that may have taken root during the long wait. The memory will remain as a testimony, but you must release the pain associated with it into my hands. Even more importantly, you must forgive every person who misunderstood you, judged you, or hurt you during your waiting season. Unforgiveness is a heavy anchor to your past, and it will prevent you from sailing into the new horizons I have for you. Release them from the debt you feel they owe you. Let me be their judge. Your task is to walk in freedom. Furthermore, you must release the old coping mechanisms and survival strategies that you learned in the wilderness. They served their purpose for a time, but they are now obsolete. You no longer need the walls you built to protect your heart, for I am your defender. You no longer need the cynical mindset that shielded you from disappointment, for I am the God of hope. You not tried to fit this new work of my Spirit into the old framework of your life. I am doing something entirely new, and it requires a new structure, a new mindset, a new way of living. I am giving you new wineskins for the new wine I am pouring out. So stand with your hands open, not clenched around the things of the past. For behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Let the former things go, and embrace the glorious new thing I am doing. Now, my child, as you begin to walk in this new season of fulfillment, I give you this charge. Let a spirit of profound gratitude become the default posture of your heart, the very atmosphere in which your soul lives and breathes. Let your first thought in the morning and your last thought at night be one of thanks. I want you to cultivate a deeper level of thankfulness than you have ever known. Thank me not just for the gift itself, but for the profound wisdom and perfect love behind the timing of the gift. Express your gratitude for the difficult season of waiting that prepared you, for the silence that taught you to listen, and for the fire that forged your strength. A grateful heart is a humble heart, and you know that I give my grace to the humble. Gratitude will be a mighty shield that guards your heart from the insidious poisons of pride and entitlement. Express your thanks to me daily, in all things, for this practice keeps your focus on me, the giver, and not just on the gift. When your heart is fixed on me in gratitude, the blessing will not become an idol. It will remain in its proper place as a tool for my glory. When you live in a state of perpetual thankfulness, you will find that your joy becomes unshakable and your peace becomes steadfast. Gratitude is the soil in which joy flourishes. I invite you to see every good thing in your life, no matter how small, as a direct and personal expression of my love for you. Let this awareness cause a wellspring of praise to rise up within you. Know that your authentic thankfulness is a sweet and pleasing aroma that ascends to my throne. It is a form of worship that delights my heart. So live with a grateful spirit, my child, for it is the key to enjoying the fullness of the beautiful life I am now giving you. You now see the beautiful responsibility that this new season holds. You understand the stewardship, the letting go, and the gratitude required. But the greatest promise, the very anchor for everything I have given you, is yet to be fully revealed. To walk away with only the instructions and not the ultimate assurance of my constant presence would cause you to feel the weight of the blessing instead of the unending joy of the blesser. It would grieve my spirit for you to ever feel alone in this new land. Stay just a little longer. Let me give you the final, most important gift of all. As you stand on the threshold of this beautiful and blessed new season, hear my most important promise, the one that underpins all the others. This new blessing, this fulfilled promise, is not a final destination. It is simply a new and more glorious vista on our journey together. I am not a God who gives a gift and then departs. I am not a distant king who sends a reward by messenger. I am your constant and intimate companion. The most crucial truth you must carry into this new era is this: I will be with you in the joy and excitement of fulfillment just as I was with you in the agony and silence of the waiting. My presence is not conditional upon your circumstances. You did not earn it in the struggle, and you cannot lose it in the blessing. I am your Emmanuel, which means God with you. My presence is, and always will be, the greatest and most precious gift I could ever give you. The new opportunities, the resources, the relationships, these are all wonderful, but they are secondary. The ultimate prize is me. I will continue to be your guide, leading you in the new decisions you will face. I will be your comforter when new challenges arise. I will be your loving corrector when you begin to stray. I will be your champion and your defender against any new opposition. Do not ever allow the blessing to become a substitute for the blesser. I invite you to seek my face even more diligently in this season of abundance than you did in your season of need. The journey is not over. It has simply entered a new and more fruitful chapter. But the one constant, the one anchor for your soul, the one unshakable reality is that we walk this path together. Never forget that I am always, intimately, and joyfully with you. You must understand, my child, as you stand in the dawn of this new day, that this fulfillment is not the final chapter of your story. It is the glorious beginning of a new volume, filled with pages yet to be written. Do not see this blessing as a finish line, but as a new and more beautiful starting point on our journey together. Every blessing I give is a living seed. When you steward it well, planting it in the soil of obedience and watering it with gratitude, it produces a future, even greater harvest. I want you to live in joyful anticipation, knowing that there are still many more things I have kept in reserve for you, treasures in my storehouse with your name on them, waiting for seasons yet to come. Your part now is to continue the very practices that brought you to this place. Continue to seek my face with all your heart. Continue to grow in grace and in the knowledge of who I am. Continue to trust me completely, not just for your next breakthrough, but for your next breath. I want you to see your life as I see it, an unfolding epic, a grand adventure, a testament to my relentless grace and my limitless restorative power. The story is far from over. There are more giants to conquer, more territory to possess, and deeper levels of intimacy with me to discover. This victory is not a place to retire. It is a platform from which to launch into the greater things I have planned. Let this promise settle deep into your spirit and ignite you with an unquenchable hope. The best is truly yet to come. This beautiful moment is but a foretaste, a wonderful glimpse of the glory that will continue to unfold in your life, culminating in an eternity of unimaginable joy in my presence. Now, my beloved, I want to broaden your vision. The incredible work I have done in your life was never intended to terminate with you. You were not rescued for your own sake alone. I have transformed your story into a powerful beacon of hope, and you must now let its light shine brightly for countless others who are still lost in the storm of their own waiting season. You have become a living, breathing testimony to my faithfulness and my perfect timing. The scars you carry are now signs of hope to the wounded. The patience you learned is now a lesson for the impatient. The victory you are walking in is now a promise to those who feel defeated. I am now calling you to teach others the precious, hard-won lessons you learned in the crucible of your waiting. Do not hide your story. Do not shrink back from sharing both the pain of the process and the glory of the outcome. You must show them what it looks like to trust me in the darkness. You must give them language for their own longing and a framework for their own faith. See your life as a fruitful tree. The fruit that has now grown from your journey will provide spiritual nourishment for many hungry souls. They will come and sit in the shade of your testimony and be refreshed. You are now building a multi-generational legacy of faith, a heritage that will point people to me long after your time on earth is complete. This is how my kingdom advances, not through abstract principles, but through the beautiful, redeemed stories of my children. Your life is now one of those pillar stories. Embrace this sacred calling. Be an open book. Let your life be a testament that I am a good father and that I am always faithful. In the midst of this new and wonderful joy, I give you this gentle command. Remember that all earthly blessings, no matter how glorious, are temporary. This beautiful new season is a gift to be cherished, but it is not your ultimate home. I invite you to live in it with an eternal perspective. Use the new resources and influence I have given you not to build a more comfortable life on earth, but to store up for yourself treasures in heaven, treasures of generosity, of souls won for my kingdom, of a life poured out in loving service. Keep your eyes fixed on the ultimate prize. That prize is not the blessing you now hold. The ultimate prize is me, and the eternal glory that awaits you in my presence. This life, even in its most beautiful moments, is but a vapor, a brief and sacred preparation for an unending age of joy with me. The greatest thing I have kept for you is not on this earth. It is a mansion in my Father's house, a place where there are no more tears, no more waiting, and no more pain. That is your true inheritance. That is your final destination. When you live this beautiful new season in the radiant light of that eternal reality, it changes everything. It frees you from the fear of losing what you have been given. It empowers you to hold your blessings with an open hand, knowing they are merely tools for an eternal purpose. It fills you with a peace that the world cannot understand. So enjoy this gift, my child. Live in it fully, but live in it as a pilgrim, a traveler whose heart is set on a heavenly home. Let your eternal hope be the anchor for your soul and the compass for your journey. My child, come close now and be still. If you hear nothing else I have spoken, if all the promises and instructions fade away, let this one truth be engraved upon the very core of your being. You are my deeply and passionately loved child. My love for you was the singular motivation behind the painful season of waiting, and it is the singular motivation behind the joyous season of giving. It has always been, and will always be, about my love for you. You must understand that this love is not based on your performance. It is not a reward for your faithfulness or a payment for your endurance. My love for you is rooted in my own unchanging character. I love you because I am love. It is who I am. And this love that I have for you is everlasting. It had no beginning, and it will have no end. It is unconditional. There is nothing you could ever do to make me love you more, and there is nothing you could ever do to make me love you less. It is perfect, and it will never, ever fail you. This love is your truest and only foundation. The blessings may come and go. The seasons may change, but my love for you is the one constant in the universe. I command you now, for the rest of your days, to rest in this love. Stop striving to earn it. Stop fearing you will lose it. Simply receive it, breathe it in, and let it be the source of your security and your identity. Build your entire life upon the unshakable reality of my affection for you. Now go forth, my beloved, and live in the fullness of what I have kept for you. For now, walk in the power, the wisdom, the joy, and the victory I have given you. But above all, walk as one who is completely and eternally loved. You are resting now in the ultimate truth of my unending love for you. This very love is the message the entire world is starving to hear. Your heart has cried out, "Let my life be a testament to your love." This is your moment to let it be so. Through your support, you are not just funding a video. You are sending a divine love letter from my heart directly to a soul that feels utterly abandoned and alone. Every gift becomes a current in the great river of my love, flowing from you and carrying this life-saving message to the parched and broken. I commanded you to love one another as I have loved you, and this is a tangible way you can obey that command today. The heart is breaking right now, believing they are unlovable. Your act of faith can deliver the very word that saves them. Because you have chosen to be a conduit of my love, I will pour out an even greater measure of my presence and favor upon you. Now release this love. Give through super thanks or membership, or use the PayPal donation link below, and be my hands and heart on the earth. My beloved child, you have listened with your heart, and you have received my word. The promises I have spoken over you are not empty air. They are living and active, seeds of divine reality planted in the soil of your spirit. The season of waiting has served its sacred purpose, and the now of your fulfillment has arrived. I have kept this blessing for you, and now I release it. As a final act of receiving, as a powerful step of faith to anchor these truths in your life, I invite you to make a declaration. Do not let this moment pass silently. Let your agreement with heaven be heard on earth. Your words have power, and when you speak or write your faith, you give it substance in your own heart and in the world around you. Therefore, go to the comments below and declare with a bold and grateful spirit, "I receive what God has kept for me. My now has come." Write it for yourself, as a memorial stone of this moment between us. Write it as a flag of victory planted in the soil of your new season. And write it for others. Your declaration will become a beacon of hope, a powerful testimony that will encourage another soul who is still in their season of waiting. Let your faith become a light for someone else to see. Do this now, and step fully into the beautiful story I have kept for you. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.